Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kyle Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Today, I am joined by Dylan LaPalomento, who'll be fighting at Cage Fury on January 29th. Dylan, how you doing?
Good, glad to be here. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a pleasure to have you on. You're fighting at a Webb Fitness and MMA in New Jersey. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into MMA.
So I'm Dylan LaPalomento. I'm 26 years old. Uh, I'm an MMA fighter. I fight out of New Jersey, like you said, at Webb Fitness and MMA. Been wrestling since I was a kid. Always, you know, had an itch for it and watched the UFC growing up and stuff like that. And eventually, after wrestling came to an end, made the transition to MMA. And I was fortunate enough to have Web Fitness and MMA right in the town that I grew up in. So the head coach there is Jonathan Webb. He
Okay.
fought in the UFC. He was a Cage Fury champ. So I was blessed to be in that situation. I was like, sign me up.
That's awesome. Now, being a wrestler, transitioning over to MMA, how do you believe that's helped you being a wrestler instead of say like a striker or something? Grappling is the foundation. I always say of most sports, especially combat sports. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I was wrestling the whole time, I had dabbled with a lot of stuff. I started doing BJJ when I was in like ninth grade back in high school.
Oh, awesome.
It wasn't every day, two times a day, anything like that. Because at the time, I was going to school, I was wrestling full time, but I was in there, and then got back into it after wrestling ended like fully. And when I was able to like make that transition from wrestling to the BJJ stuff, I felt like I had like a little bit of a just like a little bit of a kickstart because I
Hmm.
had already grappled my whole life. BJJ is definitely different and MMA in general, but like a lot of stuff translated over. And then
Like
I had
hips,
already,
hand control, stuff like that.
yeah, just like exactly, yeah, just like the hand fighting, the grips, like feeling like the balance and distribution of your weight and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like I kind of had a feel for everything, but there was a lot to learn too.
That's awesome. Now tell us a little bit about Web Fitness. I'm a Long Island guy. You're from Jersey. Tell us a little bit about Web Fitness and what it's like to train under your coach, Webb.
Um, I love my team. I say it all the time. I believe it when I say it. I think I have the best team in the world. And that's not to say that any other team isn't good. I'm just saying I think it's the best team in the world for me, for my situation. I feel like I'm in a great spot. Um, Jonathan is an amazing coach. He was an amazing fighter. I feel like he just kind of was a great fit for me too, with my style. And I have really, really great teammates. I have guys that are some of the best grapplers in the world out of my gym, and we just all want to see each other succeed. It's one team, and we all have the same dream. We're all just trying to, you know, be the best versions of ourselves, make it to the top, be world champs.
Awesome. And I'm looking at your wins. You got 3 wins as an amateur, 2 by decision, 1 by armbar. Tell us what it was like getting those first 2 fights as decision, and then you go and get a quick win in the first round by armbar. What's that like?
Yeah, when you get in there, you want to get a finish. Obviously, I mean, you want to win the fight. That's the ultimate goal. But getting a finish is great. Um, Looking back on it, I don't regret anything. I'm not upset about anything. The whole time I was going for finishes, I was working, but getting that cage time was super important. I think like I had my first 2 fights both went the distance, so I had 6 full rounds of MMA to just keep getting better and get experience as an amateur. And then the third one, I was able to make the corrections and tune up some technical errors that I think I made and get out of there with a finish, which felt nice.
And I agree with you. I think time inside the cage for the young fighters is crucial. So many people do get in there and finish people real fast, and then they get to the professional level and they're like, "Hey, this ain't happening. What happened?"
Yeah,
I
and then
think
you're
that's
in a
crucial
scrap.
for you. Yeah, absolutely. But do you feel like you've improved knowing like your first 2 fights, you went the distance, you got that experience inside the cage. Now you're finishing your opponents, and then you got this opponent coming up. Like, how much confidence does that give you going into the fight?
Yeah, it definitely gives me a lot of confidence. I feel like I turned the corner uh actually at like the end of my second fight. It was in my second fight. I really was like looking for the finishes, not forcing them, but every time I saw an opportunity, I was jumping on it. Credit to the guy I fought. He was really tough and he hung in there and fought his way out of a lot of bad positions. But I was right there. I was right there and I was like, I tasted it. I tasted it. And then the third fight, I was like, you know what? I've been here. I know what to do. I do this every day, and I was able to get a good finish, and it felt really good. It felt like I said, turning that corner.
Now, how much training do you put in? Do you work full time as well, or do you put a few days in, or are you training like you're a professional already?
I like to think I'm training like a professional. Again, I guess that's subjective depending on who you ask, but I would like to think I do. I mean, I'm in the gym 2, 3 times a day, every day. You know, on the weekends and stuff like that, Sundays, spend some time with the family. But
Mhm.
I'm in the gym, like I said, 2, 3 times a day. That this is a job for me. I treat this like it's my career. I want it to be a career. So
Sounds like a professional to me, 2, 3 times a day, every day, except for on the weekends, but you hop in there as well. That sounds like a pretty professional to me. Um, I haven't seen you fight. How would people describe your fighting style? Will you stand till you have to bring it to the ground, or you bring it to the ground right away? How would people who've never seen you? How would you describe your style?
I think that like my striking is pretty underrated just because people haven't gotten to see it for an extensive period of time. But I had spent a lot of time boxing at
Okay.
a really, really great local boxing gym around where I'm from. They have some really good fighters out of there. But I spent a lot of time boxing as well, and just the way my fights had went, uh, it turned into some grappling exchanges, and that was that. But yeah, I would say as far as my style, I'm really willing to go wherever it's got to go. I feel comfortable on my feet. I'm not going to shy away from anyone there, and I just feel as if I get my hands on you, and it turns into a grappling exchange or any type of scramble, I just really have a lot of confidence that I'm going to end up on top in those situations.
That's awesome. Now you're fighting at the 2300 arena in Philadelphia, January 23rd, a next gen flyweight fight. How is weight for you? How you going down to 125? Do you walk close to that? How do you do cutting weight? I know being a wrestler, you got experience in it.
Yeah, yeah, man, I've been cutting weight a long time. I think I've gotten a lot better at it, but still learning. No, I don't walk around close to 125 to be honest with you, but the weight cut isn't, in my opinion, something that has become disadvantageous. Like I feel as if I do it correctly, I take it serious. I diet, I train a lot, and I feel like I really found a good weight for myself, and I feel like I've really gotten good at managing the weight cuts uh, to result in good performances when I get in there.
That's awesome. That's important. Trying to gain that or kind of get the fluids back in you is always a difficult part for a lot of fighters. And for those who've never cut weight, being a wrestler, you definitely have that experience, which is awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do when you're not in the gym? How do you keep your mental focus on the prize when you're not in the gym? You're out doing something. What do you do to keep yourself mentally there?
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions, right?
Yep.
Um, listen, yeah, and that's the thing. I'm 26 years old. Like, uh, I have friends, I have a family, I have a normal life and stuff. I really do like this is what I do. This is all I do. It's all I care about. It's the only thing I really have an interest in. But again, I do have a life. I just try to remember why I got into this and what the ultimate goal is. And the ultimate goal is to be world champ, UFC flyweight champ. So I I make a lot of sacrifices. I wanted this past New Year's was super weird for me. Like I saw all my friends going out and drinking, and rightfully so. They should be having fun, and I was working out. So uh, yeah, I was training, and I was like, you know what? I have a fight in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks. This is my life. This is the life I choose. So
definitely some sacrifices. You just mentioned it. Everyone's out enjoying themselves. You're young, 26. They're enjoying themselves on New Year's Eve. What inspires you though to do that? Is there a fighter that inspires you, a family member? What keeps you focused? And what's that inspiration?
Yeah, you know, I love competition. Since I was a kid, I loved competing. And it was in anything, but I really just I was watching the UFC as a kid, and people thought it was crazy. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a crazy game, and I still run into people, and they'll be like, That's what you do? That's crazy." And uh, man, I remember I think I was watching The Ultimate Fighter as a kid, me and one of my buddies, and I was just like, "Man, this is awesome! Like this is what I'm gonna do one day." And sure enough, but yeah, there were guys like Anderson Silva. He was like sensational. Um, George St. Pierre, dominant. Uh, I mean, as of recently, how can you take it away from guys like Conor McGregor and stuff? He changed the game completely.
Hmm.
So there's been a lot of guys, but I think someone that I really really liked, and I just felt like I could resonate with a little bit was BJ Penn.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I really liked BJ. I just felt like he he put his whole life into this. He put his whole life into fighting, and I think he was a little gone. But I think you got to be good at anything, and I just felt like man, I really like that guy. I feel like I can relate. I feel like he wanted some of the same things that I want right now. So
All right. Cool. Yeah. BJ Penn, exciting person to watch fight. That's for sure. Um, Now, what are the like? You got your fight coming up against Nick Gerber. What are the challenges you see he presents to you?
um, so he to my knowledge is a wrestling background.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, I seen a little bit of his fighting, and yeah, I mean he's definitely a game guy. He's definitely a game opponent. Everybody that's going in there is going in the fight. You know what I mean? I don't.
Hmm.
I'm very confident in myself, and I put in the work, and I think that the preparation I put in is a result of my confidence. But I don't overlook anybody at the same time, and he definitely, like I said, he brings more of a grappling based background. Uh, I I would assume that that's something that will be you know brought to the cage that night. But I mean the fight's going to start on the feet too,
Yep.
so we'll be ready for that. And yeah, I mean like I said, he's going to come to fight, and I'm going to come to fight too. So January 29th, yeah, we'll put it to the test, and
Awesome. What are some short term goals for you? Some long term goals for your career?
yeah. As far as short term goes, I can get as short term as it gets. Right now, to wake up tomorrow early, get to the gym, get in a great workout, make sure the diet's on point, make sure I'm focused mentally, and but but now aside from that, I'm really locked in and focused on January 29th, my next fight, my next opponent. This is a guy who's been in the cage 3 times, just like myself. Um, so I'm really locked in on that right now. But ultimately, like I said, I got in this to be a world champ, and you know, you got to start somewhere. It might sound crazy to my friends at one point. It might sound crazy to my family at one point, but they're slowly coming along, and that's the ultimate goal, to get to the UFC to win a flyweight world title.
Awesome. Do we have a timetable when you might turn professional? And if you win this, you're 4-0. What's after that?
That's just something that I got to go day by day with, and
Okay.
it's a boring answer, and it's a very broad answer, but I really got to say
That's
it.
an
Something.
honest answer, though. I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't like to look too far ahead, and that's a discussion that I'll have with my coaches. That's something I got to think about myself. I got to feel it out, and right now the focal point is January 29th.
Okay. What's one thing about you that nobody knows but you'd like to share with everyone Doesn't have
Oof.
to be fight related. It could be anything.
One thing about me that nobody knows. It's a good question. Ah, hmm, hmm.
I've had a black belt that can't ride a bike, a boxer that's afraid of sponges. There's some weird things out there. It's pretty funny. A black belt that can't swim.
Oh, I can't swim. I can swim. It's. I'll think while I'm thinking about it, I'll tell you something funny about swimming. The way I learned to swim was the old fashioned way, I would say.
Chucked?
Yep, that's how
Really?
I learned to
You always
swim.
hear about that, but you never met anyone who actually learned that way.
Yep. So my pops was he was thrown into a lake as a kid. My grandfather threw him into a lake as a kid, and he said sink or swim, and he swam. So my dad was like, hey, he said, you don't know how to swim yet, and I said, no, I don't. Maybe like I don't know, maybe we'll start in the shallow end or something like that. Nope, he just said, here, come here, threw me in there, and I was like swimming for my life, man. Uh, but yeah, so I learned the old-fashioned way on that one. It's fight or flight, right?
Yeah, right. Seriously. You always hear about that story. Oh, I was just chucked in when I was little, but now actually meeting someone just tossed in. There you go.
I really was. Yeah, I really
That's
was too.
awesome.
That's not any. I'm not
Like
blowing
I had a
smoke.
pool in my yard, so it's like learned in there.
Did you have an above ground or in
Yeah, it
ground?
was above ground. Yeah, we didn't have
And
a
you can
below
usually
ground.
stand in those, right?
Yeah, usually, yeah. They're like first we had like one that was like 3 feet, then it was like 4 feet, and then I think the tallest it got was like 5 feet. So
Yeah, yeah,
you'd always stand at some point.
yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty cool. And then I don't live too far from the ocean, so that's always in the back door.
Right. That's true.
So
That's true.
but I'm looking forward to this fight. Anyone you want to recognize? Anyone you want to throw a shout out to for support?
Oh
Any
man.
sponsors?
Of course. That's a big thing, that's something good that you brought up. Like everybody talks about like this whole like I do it myself or self-made, and like everybody's got a team behind them, and
Mhm.
whether that be teammates, whether that be your coach, or in my case, it's all of it. I have a great coach, like I said, Jonathan Webb. I really believe in him, and I feel as if he believes in me, and that's why I'm there. I have great teammates. There's so many to name. Like, and they all help in a different way. You know what I mean? Whether it's one of my teammates who's currently ranked as one of the best grapplers in the world at his weight class, or it's one of my teammates who doesn't even compete, but you know what I mean, gives me solid rounds at the gym, or helps me drill, just comes in to let me drill. Like they're great. And then I can't forget about my friends, my family, and everyone that supports me. Uh, I got I got a rowdy like fan base, man,
Okay.
and they're rowdy. Like I love it when they come out to fights and stuff like that. There it is on the screen. That's it. They're the crew. It's the infamous crew. So uh, they're rowdy, and we just embrace it at this point. Like I feel like some people might shy away from it or get embarrassed, but they're nuts, and I love it.
That's awesome. There's like everyone always talks about sports in the playoffs. I think baseball's pretty cool because everyone's kind of quiet, even though I'm a huge football fan. But also in the big hit, everyone goes nuts at Yankee Stadium, and
Yeah.
then you get MMA. Also, on a huge knockout or monster kick or something, the place just erupts and goes nuts. And one of the main reasons I love the sport,
Oh,
love when the crowd goes nuts.
it's the best. I feed off it too. Like I really do love it. Like um when they show up, they show out. And they get up for it. They get super excited for it. This is my first fight in Philly. So I was born in Philly. My family's from Philadelphia. We moved to Jersey, but this is my first time getting a fight in Philly, and I'm really really excited for it, and I think they are too.
That's awesome. Sounds like it's going to be a great event. Cage Fury is shown on live on UFC Fight Pass. So if you want to watch the fight, I believe you have to purchase Fight Pass. Definitely worth it. I know they got a lot of fights on there and stuff. So
Yeah,
you're excited about that being streamed live.
I think that's awesome. I think it's really cool. I had a lot of friends and family recognize that, and they were like, "Oh, that's so cool, UFC Fight Pass," or they see the UFC logo and they're like, "Ah, shit, man." Because, like I said, when I started doing this, it was just something that I had said I wanted to do. I was like, I want to. This is what I want to do, and I started off fighting for Dead Serious Promotions, and that was definitely a great opportunity. I'm grateful to get to fight for them, and then. Uh, got a call from CFFC, and they said, hey, do you want to fight January 29th? And we were all for it. So I think the fight will be I should be fighting on the prelims. I
Mhm.
think they're going to be. You can watch them for free on Facebook, Cage Fury's Facebook.
Okay.
Yep, and you can watch them for free. I think on Cage Fury's YouTube. That's the prelims, though.
Okay, all right. Definitely have to check it out. So you hear that? You can watch on the Cage Fury's Facebook as well as Cage Fury's YouTube for the prelims. But hey, congratulations fighting on Cage Fury's 105 fight card. There's not. I'm looking at the fight card right here. There's really not many amateurs fighting, and you're one of them. So congratulations to that.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing you get in there and fight. Any last words? Anything to your opponent?
Uh, I'll hold on that, but I did want to say I have speaking of teammates, I have my one of my good friends and teammates, Manny Morales, who's going to be making his pro debut on that Cage Fury card as well. I believe he's the first fight of the main card, so he's going to be making his pro debut. He's a really good dude. He's a really good fighter. And then as far as looking forward to the fight, couldn't do it without, like I said, my coach, my teammates, um, all my friends and family, and of course my sponsors. Um, Matt Blatt, it's a local car dealership. They got a spot in Glassboro. They have a spot in Egg Harbor. I know there's a lot of local people watching right now. Spot in Tom's River. If you're looking for a car, go to Matt Blatt. Um, Max Fitness Sports. That's where I do my strength and conditioning at. I have a great strength and conditioning coach. Um, and Hilltop Creamery. There you go. That's it. That's something that people don't know about me. I thought about it. Uh, so I take the dieting stuff super serious, but
Okay.
I'm a sucker for ice cream, man. Uh,
Ice cream at a certain flavor.
Come on, you like ice cream, right?
Oh yeah, strawberry ice cream is my favorite.
Strawberry. Mint chocolate chip.
Okay,
Yeah,
mint chocolate chip.
nobody would think it because like they think with the wrestling stuff and the fighting we take the weight cutting all serious, but when I don't have to when I don't have to worry about like cutting weight or making weight, oh my goodness,
I don't know.
I'll
When I
house a Sunday.
when I wrestled, I always remember everyone like after weight cuts, they ate like animals. It was hilarious. Everyone went
Oh,
to town.
oh yeah, that was
Went to
when
town.
we used to wrestle as kids. Oh man, we had no idea what we were doing. I had kids on my team that would make weight. They'd be wrestling in like an hour, and they'd be putting down Chick-fil-A sandwiches and stuff. I don't know how people do that, but and then one more, last but definitely not least, um, Dare. Gotta thank them for sponsoring me as well. Uh, I really believe in what they push for and stuff like that, and I think it's a good cause. Um, but as
Is that
far as
Dare as like the group that would come into the schools as
yeah,
kids?
yeah,
Okay.
it is. It is. I think uh, I like what they push for and what they're trying to do with like the youth community and stuff like that, because growing up as a kid, you know it was like a little path, little fork in the road, and I seen some people go this way, and
Yep.
thankfully like I got into sports, I got into fighting and stuff like that, and I stayed away from maybe some of the things that I shouldn't have been doing and that I seen some people go down that path and do, and now we're here. But as far
Amen.
as the opponent, uh, I, I don't really get into
Okay.
the whole back and forth stuff. You know what I mean? Because listen, at the end of the day, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight January 29th, and it's nothing personal for me. This is business at the end of the day. I'm in there to go in, win fights, and move along on to the next one. So um, no ill will, nothing bad to say.
Awesome. Much respect to that. Dylan, I appreciate you having you on. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and getting to know you. I'm definitely going to tune into your fight on January 29th on UFC Fight Pass. We'll also be on Cage Fury, their YouTube channel, as well as their Facebook page. So check it
Yes,
out
sir.
there. Don't want to miss it. Dylan, I appreciate you being on, and best of luck.
Kyle, thank you so much for having me on. This was a fun one. Good opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. This is Carol's Corner MMA podcast, sponsored by ProFit 24-Hour Fitness Gym on Long Island in Deer Park. Go check it out. Beautiful facility. But we are signing off.
See you guys.